Alrighty, I'm live. Going to check on the situation over on X. You just got to get a kick out of this. Trump is the troll, the master troll, right? It's so hilarious. Have you folks been on X? And if you're not, I don't know why you're not, because there's a lot of stuff happening over on X. X is the place to be. X marks the spot, actually, these days for sure. But yeah, it's hilarious to see all the people, all the Canadians in particular, are all up in arms and outraged, right? Just, just fraught. I don't know if they're getting much sleep at night now, knowing that Trump may very well want to invade Canada and what? Bring us, make us the 51st state, which what? In turn would do what? What would it do to Canada to become the 51st state? Let's see. We automatically get to adopt the U.S. Constitution rather than that piece of shit rag that we call our Bill of Rights that literally has parts or sections in it that says, yeah, you have no rights. They're just privileges that we can take away anytime. But oh no, how dare we actually have actual, a First Amendment, actual genuine freedom of speech, right? Oh, Lord forbid, or an actual Second Amendment, right? Oh no. Like, well, who the hell are these Canadians? They're like, no, that's way too much freedom for me. Right. And once again, not acting, not pretending or suggesting that, America in its current iteration, right, is, like anything remotely resembling what it actually purports to be or how it was set up initially to be the freest country on the planet, right? But it is definitely heads and shoulders above Canada. I mean, make no fucking mistake about that, folks. That's the thing when Canadians say, oh, look at those Americans. Oh, look at them fighting. Look at all the disarray. Yeah, that's people actually showing that they have the willingness to stand up and fight for their liberties. That's what all that's about. When you look on Canada, and the opposing side of things, and you see it looks like nothing's really taking place. Everything seems docile and calm. Yeah, that's not a good thing, right? You can find that exact replica kind of situation probably over in fucking China or North Korea or a lot of these other authoritarian regime type of jurisdictions, right? Yeah, the people don't stand up or speak out too much when they live under full-on tyranny, right? When people actually have the ability and the willingness and the courage to speak up, and not just speak up, but look what they did. They put Trump in power again, even after all the bullshit. So that's the American people, just like in the founding fathers saying to the fucking King George, like, fuck you, right? That's the American people once again showing their backbone and saying to the establishment, yeah, fuck you, right? But what's Canadians' response, or a lot of Canadians' response, especially progressives or leftists or ultra nationalists, which is so weird to be nationalistic about a country like Canada today. I can understand if it was something to be proud of. I'd be right there with you, folks. Matter of fact, look through my past videos when the Freedom Convoy were doing their thing. And I actually had some hope for this country. Look at the exuberance. Look at I was even somewhat patriotic, wasn't I? Yes, I was. That was a fact. But look what happened. I'm a realist too. Look what actually happened. Yeah, the Freedom Convoy, what happened to them? Trudeau and his ilk, along with the media mouthpiece, and a sizable population of this country not only rejected the Freedom Convoy and all that they stood for, but purposely targeted them, seized their bank accounts, put some of them in, locked them in cages, right? Charged them with mischief and shit, and are still basically trying to run them through the system now. And actually, I'll get to another part of that here in a minute. So yeah, not a whole lot to be proud of in terms of Canada today, right? So come on, just be realistic. This is the problem with people and their fucking, like I say, their statism. Listen, be nationalist if you want, but can you at least let your fucking brain work while you're doing it? Once again, I have the ability, the capacity to, maybe be proud of some things or some people in the country without going full on fucking retard and saying, don't you ever threaten Canada? And first of all, and I've had those kind of responses and replies to my posts on X. It's like saying that I hate Canada or I'm a traitor. Okay, first of all, what the fuck could that possibly even mean that I hate Canada? Well, first of all, what are you talking about in terms of Canada? Are you talking about the land, the trees, the air, the water, right? The topography? What are you talking about? Obviously, I don't hate any of that. Or all Canadians. Well, no, my whole family. My history, my heritage is in this country, on this plantation. So nope, don't hate all Canadians either, right? No, it's about the ones who are. There are people in this country, and it seems to be those who are the ones in positions of power, influence, and authority these days are the ones who hate me for wanting to actually have my freedoms. What am I supposed to cozy up to that fucking shit? What? People that want to oppress me, enslave me economically, treat me like garbage? What? I'm supposed to show blind nationalism to that shit or blind loyalty? Yeah, I don't fucking think so. Right? Yeah, homie, don't play that shit. Anyways, let me just check here before I get on to some of this stuff here. But I just want to make sure all the streaming platforms. I'm up on YouTube, folks, on X and Rumble. I'm just going to make sure they're all working. So give me a moment. Give me a moment. All right. Let's see here now. Yeah, looks like everything's going. Ooh, that sounded a little bit staticky, didn't it? Hey, what's going on, GTO Mama? I actually just checking on YouTube. I see you're over there. Well, I better close this. There, I'll close that up so you don't get that weird ass echo. Actually, let me bring on the Rumble too. Make sure this is all going well. Actually, I better put that on mute so we don't get that echo again. And while I'm waiting for that one to load, why not check out X too? Might as well. Might as well. Do get a few people at once in a while over there. So let's just let everyone know that I'm live. I'm live on X. On X, bitches. I won't add the bitches part, but yeah. All right. So we're good to go there now. We're good to go over on there. And actually, I will just check here. One sec. I might as well do a few other little things there. Bookmark that. And once again, check out. Yep, we're going good on the Rumble as well. So yeah, it looks like everything's going good, which is great because yeah, this was the second time, although it was only a quick thing and then it came right back. But yeah, the power went in again just probably 20 minutes ago, or actually closer to a half hour ago now, I guess. And I was, oh, no. But it quickly came back on. Basically, it was one of those ones where it just flicked on and off. But yeah, I was out of power for a couple of days. But the good thing about being out of power for a couple of days is it got me to stop procrastinating on wiring up my furnace blower so that I can actually make sure I have heat in the house in those cold winter months. So yeah, it's all good. If you got a generator, right, and you got some know-how, some electrical know-how, or even got a few things to figure out in terms of getting all that stuff, yeah, we're good. And of course, got to make sure the fridge and all that stuff, you got to have all that stuff going, you know what I mean? So it actually worked out. We were out almost basically 48 hours, but as far as I'm concerned, and thank goodness, once again, let me just shout out there to Elon and Starlink and SpaceX. Starlink, flawless, worked perfect throughout the whole ordeal, which meant not only that I had internet, but phone and, TV, although I don't really watch much TV, but you got everything you need basically in terms of that kind of stuff with Starlink, and it's so great. Once again, this is I don't know how many examples where it's like, yeah, I'm so glad that I have Starlink. So glad to have Starlink. It's been an absolute game changer for me, folks. Now, like I say, I'm just going to now that I'm made sure that everything's working good over there. I don't see any comments on Rumble as of yet, so I'll just pass that one by. But yeah, there's a couple things, like I say, before I actually get into this whole freedom of speech and Bill C-63 and the social media ban. Well, you folks know, and if you haven't checked it out already, I already did one live stream in the past, kind of referencing Bill C-63 as at least when it was first being introduced and stuff. But it's been kind of sitting on the back burner, and who knows? Although I'll kind of get you up to speed on where that's at right now in Canada. But as you're seeing, folks, Australia seems to be the country that's going to go first with this shit, right? And like I said, I'm going to be talking about that here in a minute. But let me just do a little quick house clean and a couple other stories that I just want to talk about. So like I was mentioned before, I won't even bother bringing this one up on the screen. I'll just mention it to you. This is also a CBC News. I'll make sure to place the link in the description of the live stream, of course. But this is a CBC News article out of Ottawa. Convoy organizer Steve Charland found guilty of mischief. Charland, associated with Quebec groups, experts consider far right. So this was posted December 3rd, 2024. So that's all you have to do in Canada these days. And we're seeing, it's not just Canada. We're seeing this coordinated and concerted effort to label anyone who won't go along with the status quo or the current ruling establishment, right? To label them as far right or extremists. And then that just gives them some kind of a blanket ability or statement or cover so that everyone else can just ignore and overlook the fact that these people are basically being treated as political prisoners and raked over the coals for. And it's not because what do you do? Like, what do you do? That's what I mean. Calling people fucking names and throwing labels on them. Listen, what crime did he commit? Right? A crime, obviously, that should be so severe to receive a label such as far right, because we know the implications of what fucking far right means, don't we, folks? Right? No, it was just someone that actually was standing up for their fucking fundamental freedoms, right? Just like Tamara Litch and Chris Barber and the rest of the fine folks and Pat King and everyone else, for the most part, for daring to stand up against the ruling establishment and their authoritarian mandates and edicts, right? Remember all that shit? Yeah, I sure do. A key figure of the Freedom Convoy protest has been found guilty of mischief. And I mean, what of all things to charge them, right? Like, so fucking, anyways. This is the problem with these laws, folks. And I mean, libertarians, not just myself, but so many, even before I even learned this stuff, have been talking about this stuff for fucking ever, for decades, folks. That all of these laws, right? And the way they're worded and so vague, make them applicable to just target anybody and fuck with anybody you want. That is what modern governments, Western governments do today, is they've set it up so there's enough laws, rules, regulations, and shit and policy on the book that if they want to fuck with you, if they want to target you, they want to harass you, they want to criminalize and penalize you, and lock you in cages or give you fines, it's all right there for them. It's just a matter of picking which one they want to use to apply to you. So that's a reality. So freedom in Canada, I mean, come on. It's a fucking myth. And if you actually believe you're free, what that really tells me is you've never done anything in your life to actually challenge the ruling establishment or to go up against them. That's what that means to me. If you say, oh, this is the freest country on the planet, it's like, oh, okay, you're pretty docile. You're pretty conformist. You've never challenged any authority by any means at all, right? Have you? You just do what you're told. Just a mindless order follower. And yeah, I mean, some of you think that that's a good thing. People like myself, sure shit don't. But yeah, so this guy anyway, so like I say, they charged him with mischief. Over the course of the trial, the defense argued the convoy demonstration was being managed by the city of Ottawa. Oh, wait, no. Okay, yeah. Anyways, Steve Sharlin was found guilty by an Ontario Superior Court judge on Tuesday for his role in the Freedom Convoy protest in downtown Ottawa in early 2022. He was guilty of being part of a fucking protest. Oh no! Guilty of that. Think about the way this fucking idiot in the fucking media wrote that. He was guilty of playing a role in a Freedom Convoy protest. Oh my God, I can't believe he would do such a thing. Oh, the humanity. Over the course of the trial, the defense argued the convoy demonstration was being managed by the city of Ottawa and that the Crown had not established beyond a reasonable doubt that the protest was illegal. Well, that's true. That is fucking true. The judge said, and we've got, I mean, this is what I mean. Wasn't all that video evidence offered? Right? And made or admitted as evidence before the judge. Like, what the? But as we know, folks, judges these days, and I mean, that's the thing, depending on which side of the political divide, you might like it, you might not like it. But yeah, they're very much activists these days. They're not using any objective standards. They're using their ideology and what side of the political divide they align with to come up with these so-called decisions. The judge said in French, it was unreasonable. First of all, anyways, whatever. Pretty sure this guy spoke English, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong there. But anyways, it was unreasonable to believe the city approved of the demonstration. The city doesn't have to approve of a fucking demonstration, you fucking retard. And this is a fucking judge in Canada. The judge said in French, it was unreasonable to believe the city approved of the demonstration. Really? So you have to ask government for permission to protest authoritarian mandates and edicts by government. Right? Yeah, that's how freedom works, is it, Judge? Fuck. He listed 10 consequences. Maybe I should turn this mic down because I might get a little bit vocal here, folks. He listed 10 consequences of the protest, including street congestion. Oh, no, street congestion. You know what else causes street congestion? Fucking mass immigration or a whole lot of people in one fucking particular area. Traffic, an accident. All kinds of things can cause congestion. Ducks crossing the fucking road. I mean, come on. This is just such fucking... Anyways, let me continue on. Noise from horns and engines. Well, imagine, you know what? There's fucking noise from horns and engines in any city you go. Any city you go. Don't tell me you've never heard fucking engine noises or horn noises or even construction equipment working around or fucking jackhammers. Fuck off if you live in the city. Don't tell me you're not used to fucking listening to noise. Fuck off. The closure of some businesses and the disproportionate use of police resources to maintain public. First of all, Freedom Convoy didn't close any fucking businesses. Dumb fuck. Like I say, these judges, yeah, and people have the fucking audacity because they put on their little fucking costumes to hold them up or prop them up or perceive them as being superior intellectually in any way, shape, or form. Just read this fucking article to show you just how fucking dumb and intellectually driven some of these hacks truly are. I mean, listen to this shit. And the disproportionate use of police resources. Once again, we seen anyways, what all they were doing was making sure that there was a lane of traffic for emergency vehicles to travel. Oh, what? That's too fucking hard to do? Isn't that kind of what they're paid to fucking do? Like, holy fuck. Anyways, let me continue on. During his testimony last year, Charlin said he did not understand why he was on the docket at all, insisting he had acted within the limits of the law. Charlin also faced a charge of counseling to commit mischief, but the Crown requested a stay of proceedings for that. Sentencing is expected to take place in February 2025. Charlin was arrested by Ontario provincial police officers in Vankleigh Hill, Ontario in February 2022. From Granville, Quebec, Charlin is known as a spokesperson for Les Farfadors, whatever, a Quebec group formed to protest against public health measures. So now they're just, once again, all this is now, just so you know, is just attacking the man's character. Because there's nothing here that has anything to do with the fucking charges or the charge of mischief. And what did they say he did? He was there protesting. That's all I've got from this article so far. Nothing else, and neither have you. But that was enough, right? For the judge. Anyways, once again, I'm not even going to bother reading the rest of it because, like I say, all the rest of it is, and once again, it will be linked in the description of the stream, but all they're doing is attacking the man's character, hoping that there's enough fucking dumbass, fucking retarded fucking Canadians that will hear that shit and be like, oh, okay, or you must be a bad guy then. You know, same old tired lines they use to target anyone who won't go along with the current rule establishment. Anyways, I know it's GTO Mama. What's going on, GTO Mama? Thanks for joining the stream. Really appreciate that. Good morning to you. Let me check on a couple of other ones here. Canadians love to bend over and get it hard. Fucking some do, right? And that's a true statement. And you know what's funny? It's funny you said that. And thanks for actually doing that, Buzzsaw. Because see how this is a perfect example. Let me use this actually as an example how fucking retarded some Canadians truly are. You said Canadians love... Well, you said the bend over and get it hard, but you meant say two. But anyways, but you know what? I get into arguing with someone by saying like boomers. I said boomers, and I didn't say all boomers. I just said boomers. And then I even reiterated below that was saying, not all, but yes, some. And yet the argument continued on because some fucking Canadians, and I think this one must have been a boomer, or was there multiples of them? I can't remember now, but even by saying a statement that was actually a generalized statement and actually was true, but this is how fucking nuts people get, right? Now, I didn't get mad at you by saying Canadians love to bend over and get it hard. You know why I didn't get upset with you for saying that, Buzzsaw? Because I recognize that it doesn't apply to me. And if it doesn't apply to me, why the fuck am I going to feign outrage for someone else? Let them defend themselves, right? But I know you're not talking about me, so I'm not going to get offended by it or up in arms about it. But that's what separates me, who knows how to think objectively and critically about these things. And even though I do have emotions and do use them from time to time, for sure, I can also keep them in check when it's needed or necessary. I have a little bit of self-control that way, right? Anyways, sorry there, but it was just something that was on my mind. I figured I might as well get it off now. Why not? The opportunity presented itself. Google keeps asking for my birth date. That's weird. Listen, I got to tell you, and once again, I don't even like saying it because, like, well, there's nothing I can do about it. So what's the point? But I just got to tell you, folks, my X account, I don't know what that. I'll just go to reply to someone and it'll say, something along the lines of, you can't, like, more or less, you have to add a phone number because it's to prevent spam. It's like, but I've only replied one, and I'm literally just typing out a reply. And like I say, lots of other little tiny things. I don't know what they are. And of course, I haven't definitely seen the bot accounts, the leftists, the collectivist bot accounts. I'm definitely seeing them, especially. That's why I hover over some of those profiles. And the minute you see there's 0 followers and they're following like 1 or like 2. Yeah. And there's no profile picture or nothing there. That's a bot. I mean, it's, it should be blatantly obvious, but of course, some of the bots get even more complicated than that. So, there's that. But yeah, like I say, there's a coordinated, hey, we know this, folks. This is nothing new. There's a coordinated effort to target and suppress people like ourselves, obviously, because we're the ones out there that are trying to properly enlighten, inform, and educate our fellow citizens. And that's the last thing the ruling establishment wants to take place or to happen, because something might even happen remotely resembling like down in the US, where people actually get off their fucking duffs in this country and actually do something to shove that middle finger up to the fucking ruling class, right? That would be great. I hope to see it someday. In the interim, though, Yeah, I know what you meant there, GTO Mom. Yeah. Yeah, you are free to pay taxes. That sums up your freedom. Pretty much. You're free to bend over. Yeah, that too. Hey, what's going on, David? Thanks for joining the stream too, my friend. Okay, so let's get to actually, should I cover some of that 51st state stuff? That was pretty funny. I thought that was pretty funny. Yeah, maybe I will. Actually, let me get into some of my bookmarks. Let me go to that first date. Yeah, I'm not sure if you folks seen the video of it here or not, but let me bring this on. Actually, it was kind of a joke. I kind of wish it wasn't a joke, but it was kind of a joke. But yeah, this is how it actually came about here. All right, there. Now, let me put that on full screen here.
Let's find outside.
I gotcha.
It was fire. It was.
Will you put it up on my screen?
You want to do it?
Put it up.
All right. Well, get the rally out.
Do it now.
Yeah.
Do it. Get it up.
Let's find outside.
I gotcha.
It was fire. It was.
Will you put it up on my screen?
You want to do it?
Put it up.
All right. Well, get the rally out.
Do it now.
Yeah.
Do it. Get it up.
Now, I don't know, to be honest with you, folks. I'm not even 100% sure if that could even be a troll as well. But that's so far what I've seen in terms of that picture that we're all seeing. And just to clarify that picture, here it is right here. That's hilarious. Now, well, you folks have all seen the picture, right? But yeah, it's basically just I believe a Trump troll. There we go. And yeah, I know. Yeah, people are pointing out that this is not even Canada or the Rockies. It's somewhere in Switzerland, like what they call it, the Matterhorn or whatever. So what? That's like, holy fuck! It was called a joke. Like, you don't know what a joke is. Shit. But anyways, yeah. So that's the picture, and yeah, I've been kind of having a little bit of fun, laughing my ass off about some of the responses and reaction to it. Right. People are just gone fucking nuts. These ultra nationalist Canadians for sure. Anyways, right? Like I say, I just keep asking, what do you got against more freedom? I don't know. Why would you have an issue or take issue with that? But let me get on to what we're talking about here. The most. Actually, no, there was one actually. There was one other thing. This one's going out for you folks who seem to be predisposed with talking about the residential school and, the mass graves and all that stuff. I happen to see an article, and I've read a few of them. Yeah, it's not like I just pass by this stuff. I try to pay attention to most issues, especially in particular that affect Canada or Canadians. So I did check it out. And yeah, I hear you folks. I'm just going to help. Actually, I'm going to show that I'm on your side here. And it's not conspiratorial by any stretch of the imagination to say, listen, without actual bodies or actual proof, then stop using the fucking baseless rhetoric and how this residential school or how deaths, as if, see, this is the way the media talks, or the way that, that are part of the Truth and Reconciliation. They talk as if there's these mass graves, or what, the teachers or whoever that ran these residential schools, or the principals, or people, or the priests or whatever, they just, killed a bunch of kids and threw them in mass graves. Like, cause that's kind of how the way, that's how they present the story. Right. And this here is going to, at least for a couple examples, at least going to put things into proper context. And actually, I'm going to do that right now. So let me bring it on. Just so I can make some clarifications here. So this here is, as you can see, it's an article, once again, from the CBC under the Indigenous section. Coroner's probe finds 220 additional deaths at Ontario residential schools. Deaths are in addition to the 436 documented by the National Center for Truth and Reconciliation in Ontario. This report by Brett Forrester, December 2nd, 2024. An Ontario coroner's investigation has identified 220 additional deaths linked to Indian residential schools in the province. Deaths that were previously unknown by the Truth and Reconciliation Commission or the National Center for Truth and Reconciliation. The NCTR's Memorial Register lists 436 documented deaths as Ontario residential schools. So the confirmation of 220 more would bring the combined total of known deaths in the province to 656 and counting. The residential schools death investigation team, assembled by Ontario's Office of the Chief Coroner in 2021, confirmed the details mainly through line-by-line analysis of public and protected records, complemented by extensive archival research. In terms of the end result, we're bringing answers to families that never had them, said team leader Mark McKozik, an Ontario Provincial Police Sergeant. Okay, so anyways, let me just get down to the part where, like I say, I think you people are going to find most disturbing because of the contrast as to how it's been portrayed by most of the hacks in the establishment media and these proponents of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. So here we are, start right here. In 1936, pupil number 0991 at the Mohawk Institute died when the playground equipment she was playing on broke, sending a metal wheel crashing into her midsection, causing intra-abdominal hemorrhaging, from which she had later died in hospital, according to school records. Her name was Effie Smith. She was 13 years old. Now, obviously, that's a very, very sad story. But what does it have to do with the fact that she was a First Nations child? Accidents could happen to anyone and do happen to anyone, right? It's not like this metal wheel that came crashing, this fault of the machinery or this breakdown of the machinery or whatever had happened to it. It's not like it an inanimate object, targeted this young girl. It was an unfortunate accident, and obviously a very sad and tragic accident, but it at least puts clarification in there. It's not like, it's not like there was any malicious intent in her death, right? Now, here's another one. In 1939, pupil number 791 at the Mount Elgin Indian Residential School near London fell 9 meters from an unscreened window, suffering intracranial hemorrhaging and fractured cervical vertebrae. School records state he was being kept in bed alone due to illness. While the screen was removed for repairs but not immediately replaced, an attending physician wrote, his name was Cody Claus. He was 4 years old. So once again, obviously very tragic. No one would want to see this happen to any child, especially like a child of such young age, 4 years old. Terrible, tragic accident. But once again, it was an accident. Nothing malicious or malevolent involved here. And the third and final example, these are the ones that are contained within this article. Once again, this will be linked in the description of the video of the live stream. At the St. Joseph's training school, 3 children were asked to get inside a tank to clean it out so it could be used to hold water. It had previously contained some kind of noxious substance, said Makozik, and the boys were using an incandescent light to illuminate it while cleaning. The last boy to exit knocked over the light, which ignited the fumes inside and caused an explosion. He died in the inferno. So this particular incident, there could be some cause for concern as to why were these young children in this cleaning this thing out, especially if there had been knowledge of prior noxious substance. But once again, was it malicious because of the child's background or heritage, or is it just incompetence, or just at that time that kids were used to do things like that or treated in that manner in the past, and not just First Nations children, but children from all areas and backgrounds and ages and heritage, right? So at least in these particular examples, as sad as the stories are, it doesn't align with the overarching narrative that's constantly being fucking relayed to Canadians by those in the establishment media or those who are putting on this Truth and Reconciliation Commission, right? So once again, some real truth and some clarity is what's needed and necessary. And this is just one of countless examples. I mean, I can't even tell you how many times over the past, I don't know how many years now, I've done the same thing, pointing out the hypocrisies, the lies, the omissions of facts, right? The propaganda, the rhetoric, just baseless insults, insinuations. I pointed out, like I say, I've got literally well, that was a bit weird. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, folks. I don't know, but I seem to be back for now. Now, this doesn't make a person suspicious. Anyways, let me get to the Australia thing here. No, if I can. What the heck? Okay. All right, let's try this again, folks. Let's try this again. Let me bring this on. Okay, here we go. Let's see if this bad boy's going to work now.
Now have a social responsibility to ensure the safety of our kids is a priority for them. We're making sure that mums and dads can have that different conversation today and in future days. We've got your back is our message to Australian parents. I've met with parents who've lost and buried their child. It's devastating. We can't, as a government, hear those messages from parents and say it's too hard. we have a responsibility to act. My government has done that, and I thank you very much. We have ensured as well with the legislation that things which are open for education will still be available. People will still be able to communicate with each other, of course, and be able to communicate with people who they know as well. One of the issues we're dealing with here, some of it is social harm and some of the bullying that can occur as.
Oh, fucking people like that. Holy fuck. They really fucking make my blood boil. The fucking idiots. And it's always the same fucking rhetoric they use. We're doing it for your own good, or we're doing it to protect the children. That is literally the fucking siren song of every tin pot dictator and petty fucking tyrant on the fucking planet. I'm from government and I'm here to help, right? And government is force. Government is violence. Government is theft. Government is coercion. Government is compulsion. So what this piece of shit, these, like I say, these petty tyrants, and it fucking, it amazes me that they're so brave, not brave, that they're bold enough, that the people of each of our populations, of each of our jurisdictions, are so docile, so conformist, so obedient, and so slave-like in their psychology that these fucking hacks can get on these stages or on these platforms or these pulpits before an audience and with, potentially millions of people listen and say the kind of things that they can say without themselves being too fearful of retribution or retaliation. That is a scathing report on the weakness of men in this modern era, in these modern fucking times. That is a scathing report on men being just men and supposed to be defending themselves, their families, their communities from tyrants. And like it's been said so many times in the past, make no fucking mistake about it. Tyrants don't always come from other countries or other lands. As a matter of fact, most tyrannies and most people who suffer under the greatest amount of tyranny suffer at the hands of their own governments. That is an undeniable fact. And the fact that we live in the 21st century, in the information age, in the age where we have access as just regular people to so much to help fight against and defend ourselves against these tyrants. And not to mention, these are not the biggest, strongest, mightiest fucking people. If you look at who these authoritarian tyrants are, they're very weak physically, right? Not even very strong intellectually. So why are the strongest among us? Why are the most resilient? Why are the most battle-hardened and courageous among us cowering in the face of these beta cocks and these feminazis? Why? It really makes me wonder what in the hell is the reasoning behind it all? Anyways, I don't know what else to say about that. I don't even know what to say about it, but it to me, it's just a sickening fact that, and of course, now, of course, soon as that, so this just happened. This was November 29th. And once again, this will be linked in the description. Matter of fact, this is already linked in the description of the live stream. So what was that? That was November 29th. Then check this out, folks. Check this out. Coincidence? I don't know. This just happened to be reported by the CBC under the Canada section by Jessica Wong. Oh, and what date, you ask? November 29th, 2024. Same day, folks. Australia is banning social media for those under 16. is a solution for Canada? Bans don't deter young people determined to seek out social media, experts say. Australia's new law banning social media for those under 16 will likely move the needle on Canada's efforts, demanding more online protections for young people, experts say, though they call the sledgehammer approach an imperfect solution. So, yeah, what we're talking about is Bill 63. That's already, going through the House of Commons, right? Where it's at right now, once again, maybe it says that here in this article. But yeah, that's something that's already in the works, folks. And once again, I hope Canadians aren't going to allow this to take place like they did down in Australia. I really fucking hope Canadians are going to be more boisterous and offer much more pushback. I mean, please, bare minimally, because once again, all this is going to do is usher in digital ID. If you got to prove your age to go on social media, that means everyone has to. It's not just going to be kids. Because how do you prove whether you're a kid or an adult? If you show ID, which means every adult is going to have to show ID too. That is a backdoor way for the government to now have access to digital ID and can monitor you in almost in an infinite number of ways prior to this happening in the digital age, in the modern internet age that we live in. And people, Canadians, Australians, all people of the world really need to start fucking standing up and pushing back against this shit. When are you going to fucking do it? Huh? When it's too late? Like, when do Canadians finally? Now, I get it. I can at least say for the truckers, right? I get it. Yeah, you folks, I get it. Especially some, the ones that were really fucked over bad. Hey, listen, I'm not mad at you folks. I know you folks have already taken your licks, right? And if you're just taking a breather for now, I completely understand that. But what about the countless millions of other Canadians, right? Not even going to show any willingness at all. People, Canadians can't put aside their petty fucking differences for one thing in particular. Let's just try one. Let's just try one dry run. Let's just at least support freedom of fucking speech and not trying to ban people from using the internet or going on social media. And bringing or ushering in a digital era of digital ID. Can we at least do that? Is that something that we can use to unify us? Could it be? One would hope so. Past Thursday, the new law will require TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, and other social media companies to take reasonable steps to keep users under 16 off their platforms or face fines. Reasonable, like so fucking vague. Once again, that's how these laws, these acts of legislation are written. So vague that, once again, they'll just be able to fuck with you however they want, right? The ambitious Australian legislation comes amid ongoing lawsuits in Canada and the U.S. accusing social media companies of harming young people, as well as proposed updates to online safety legislation in Canada, the U.S., and Europe. We are seeing a rising groundswell of recognition that this technology is toxic to our kids. Like, this is another thing. Social media, right? Just like other things, that's not the problem. All social media is doing is allowing people to be people. People are the fucking problem, right? And you're not going to stop people from being people, nor are you going to stop, like, this is another thing. Banning kids? Where's the acknowledgement or the recognition, although there might be by someone, hopefully they've at least found one person that can point it, like, yeah, I grew up in a time where, it was illegal to get alcohol if you were under 19 in Canada. Growing up, I never knew anyone in school, and we were all younger than 19. Never knew anyone in high school or even middle school that couldn't get their hands on some liquor if they wanted to. Yet it was illegal. Just like I was just reading a story about someone in Ontario, some criminal that, was already banned from owning any guns and was caught with a gun. Imagine the fact that a criminal is not going to obey the law, right? I mean, this is the thing. These utopians, this false belief, this false premise that all you have to do is just write something on parchment or paper and somehow that fixes or solves the problem. These are lazy, inept motherfuckers is what they are. But once again, I'd be all right if they were just lazy, inept, and that they are. But they're also very tyrannical and control freaks who will, like I say, will use the full force and might of government to come down on anyone who they want to target or make or set an example of. Make no mistake about that, folks. That's coming. If people don't start standing up and pushing back against this stuff. A ban is an imperfect solution. It is a simple solution to a very complex and nuanced problem, he acknowledged. Predicting, nonetheless, it will accelerate the battle between governments demanding more accountability from tech companies and the latter pushing back against regulation. Doing something, even if it's an imperfect something, is better than sitting around doing nothing. That's what he's saying. That's what the fuck does that mean? Doing something, even it's not that it's just an imperfect something, but something that won't actually work and actually will cause probably more harm than it'll do good. But hey, let's just do it anyways because it's better than doing nothing, right? This is the fucking problem with these fucking busybody pieces of shit, like these people in this fucking article. Their controlling nature is so dominant that they can't even think critically about anything. Social media companies should absolutely do more to protect young people, but imposing a blanket ban against them is a sledgehammer approach that risks making platforms even more attractive to youth, says Matt Hatfield, executive director of the Open Media, a digital rights group promoting equitable access to the internet. Forbidding young people from something isn't usually a good way to discourage them from seeking that thing out. Now, once again, Open Media, I do kind of appreciate them because they are a little bit more of a proponent of actual freedom of speech. But once again, the fact that they want equitable access to the internet, what does that mean? Same amount of broadband usage. What does equitable mean? I would feel much more comfortable if it was equal access, but equitable has a completely different meaning, doesn't it? So once again, but here's the thing. Even people that you can disagree with, I definitely disagree with Open Media in terms of their pushing for equity in any way, right? Because we know how that works. The only way you create equity, right, is by harming a lot of people. That's the only possible way of creating equity. But as much as I completely and vehemently disagree with Open Media in their promotion of equity, we are in agreement here. So once again, this is at least an area where, once again, someone who I vehemently disagree with on one aspect, I can definitely get behind and support and show some unity with in terms of pushing back against this pretense of using big government, the sledgehammer of big government, to try to prevent people from what? Using social media. And for what? Like, for what fucking purpose? Once again, for what purpose? Have you ever seen a parent or parents that have raised their kids thinking they just constantly, it's just use a bigger stick and that'll teach them? Have you ever seen how kids turn out in those situations or circumstances? Once again, of course, there's always exceptions and outliers, but as a generalized statement, think about how those kids usually turn out. Not the fucking best. That's for sure, right? It's a terrible, terrible, terrible way to try to affect or change habits or behavior. Leading by example, doing the right thing, being moral and ethical in your approach. Those things have a much far better success rate than just using the gigantic club, aka government, to beat everyone over the head with. Canada's proposed Online Harms Act, also known as Bill C-63, is currently in its second reading. So it's in its second reading, folks, in the House of Commons, and aims to address harmful content online. That's what they say. That's the pretense, but we know that's not why. We know we've listened to the fucking rhetoric of Trudeau and a lot of these other Liberal MPs, these NDP MPs, Jagmeet Singh, these hacks in the media, some of these so-called experts in fucking academia. We know they've telecasted it to us. I've got the receipts. I've got the recordings. I've got the evidence. I've got the proof. No, they're pissed off that people like myself have the ability to speak freely. And they'll use whatever excuse or rhetoric to try to deny me that, and under some false pretense. That's what it's about. They're using the cover of we're just doing to protect the kids, Which, and you know what's so fucking crazy? When Vic Hayes did that as a conservative years ago under the Harper regime, Canadians, all those progressive leftists, were rightfully so outraged and all banded together and showed solidarity with us libertarians to say, no fucking way. No, Vic Hayes is not going to use the excuse of you're either with the pedophiles or you're with us, right? No, we're not going to fall for that bullshit line. We're going to stand in solidarity and unity with each other and push back against it. And they did. And they achieved it. And we won. Except all those same progressives, all those same leftists, all those same people in academia or in the media, now that it's someone that's on their team, their tribe, their gang, well, now mum's the word. Now they're just going to sit down, shut up, and go along to get along. Except this, Bill C-63, let me tell you, is even worse, much, much, much worse than what was it? The one, I forget the exact bill number that that Vic Hayes, I forget the actual bill number of that one when he tried to introduce it. But do you see the lack of consistency? Do you see the lack of morality, the lack of ethics, the lack of principles that the progressives, the leftists, the collectivists, and those in academia, I repeat myself, right? And those hacks in the media, or at least the overwhelming majority of those in the established media, because yes, there are outliers and exceptions to that, in particular in post media, right? That would be where you'd predominantly find those people. But for the rest of them, like I say, mum's the word, and they're willing to just go along with this. And maybe not just go along with it, maybe are actually willing and probably are actually willing to support it. Why? Because they perceive that they can use that to harm their political opponents without even thinking about the fact that, yeah, well, it can also be used to harm you or people who you align with or agree with too. Because, yeah, Trudeau's not going to be in power forever. That's for goddamn sure. It calls for a new body to develop and enforce online safety requirements, which social media companies would be required to adhere to. So once again, this is more of another example where they're going to create more bureaucracy, more of that deep state, more unelected bureaucrats that we don't get to vote in or out, who's going to be running this stuff. So you won't even be able to vote it out. It'll be just become part of the bureaucratic landscape. Once this comes to fruition, folks, it's going to be profoundly difficult to try to unwind it. So now is the time to be pushing back against it. And as if Canada already needs more heavy-handed regulations and a bigger bureaucracy. Oh, shout out to Bruce Party, and thanks for that particular statistic, because I'll be using that for the next little while, because it's disturbing. I already knew that it was quite high, very high, and I've covered it in past live streams and videos in terms of the size of the bureaucracy, the public sector in this country, and all levels of government. But Bruce brought out the actual statistic of 40% of our entire economy is government. Government represents over 40% of the GDP in this country. I mean, that's getting dangerously, like extremely dangerously close to turning this country into a full-on collectivist hellhole. And once again, at that point in time, it's not just a simple matter of what? Voting in the next leader. Now, once your country has gone full on into that kind of tyranny, like I say, good luck getting out from underneath of it without a major revolution. Right? Currently, platforms take a piecemeal approach to protecting young people, but if Bill C-63 passes, there would be a single approach required across platforms, said Hatfield, who is based in BC's Gulf Islands. A regulator would develop a set of age-appropriate design expectations, and every platform would be obligated to provide those, including being transparent about how they're doing what they're doing. Rather than a black and white ban like Australia's, he wants to see a more nuanced approach that allows young Canadians to gradually learn about social media and adopt it at an appropriate age. It shouldn't be an all or nothing thing, he said. They should be completely off social media one day. They shouldn't be completely off social media one day and sort of thrown to the wolves of social media the next. This is such a fucking nanny state, no matter how you look at it. Whether it's a bunch of central planning tyrants and control freaks. Every fucking one of them here, no matter what side they're like, they all still think that they should have any authority or pretense of authority to override me as a parent to my child or you as a parent to your child and how they can use or whether they should use social media. That's the fucking state denying you your parental rights once again in one more area in your life and assuming control over your children. That is what these bills properly represent, and so much more. Once again, don't forget about the digital ID. That once you have digital ID, like I say, then, digital ID, and then the one last nail in the coffin is a CBDC, a central bank digital currency. Those two combined, and then that's it. Lights out in terms of liberties and freedoms. You might as well forget about it. We're diving head first in a whole new dark ages. And how long will it last? I don't know. I don't know, folks. But once again, I think it's really, really important that we prevent from ever getting to that point. Australia fucked up already in one regard. Now Australia just got one more. They just got to sneak in that one last thing. Even without it, this is going to be enough that's going to really wreak havoc and cause hell. Put the Australian people literally living in a proverbial hell down there, right? Living under such a tyrannical regime. But once again, that's very close to coming to Canada as well. Anyways, folks, once again, like I say, I'll make sure to place both of these articles linked in the description of the video. Actually, the two that I just referenced, the last ones, actually, they are already actually posted on there. Anyways, I'm just going to go through a few more of the comments here, folks. Probably going to keep this live stream tied up. I'm going to actually probably not go too long with this one. Having issues already. I don't want to run into any further issues. And once again, I know my content's pretty heavily suppressed, so probably not going to be a whole lot of people that's going to see it anyways, which really does I got to be honest with you, folks. It does diminish my eagerness to want to continue because, like I said, I'm mad appreciation for you folks, but a lot of days, I got to tell you, I feel like I'm just preaching to the choir here as much as I do appreciate you folks at least coming and entertain me so I'm not just yelling at a screen all by myself. That's always greatly appreciated, but yeah, it's getting harder and harder. I guess it just depends on my mindset on the day. But anyways, yeah, I'm back. Yeah, I've been back for a little while there. But yeah, I know I don't know what happened there. Really sorry about that. Once again, I don't know what the hell happened, but something happened. The monitor. The monotony of their lives does get me impatient, just like the whole medical industry and their precious lingo. Oh, it does too. Me too. Right, Bennett? You can't even say just man up anymore, or somebody will get their fragile emotions in a frenzy. I know, right? What the fuck? So, come on. Like, come the fuck on. What the hell has happened? Anyways, yeah, I'm back. I try to get back in the word. Yeah, and the word band appeared on your thumbnail. Oh, well, no, that's actually that band on the thumbnail. Yeah, I know. That actually is the because this I did use the thumbnail for this because it's all about the banning. So that's on there. But no, it has nothing to do with my live stream being banned. Hey, what's going on, Mad Hatter? Thanks for joining the stream. I don't listen to them at all. Well, that's probably a good thing, but I suffer their consequences. Yeah, that's the thing. You don't have to listen to them. The problem is, we're going to have to suffer yeah. I hear you. Exactly. Equity is not equality. And yeah, I'm not a fan of that word. I don't like anyone using that word. Okay. I'd rather see They Live scenario like at the end of the movie. Yeah. I can't actually remember how that one actually ended. So, but don't spoil it for me. Maybe I'll watch it again. Not too long from now. Maybe tonight. No, probably not tonight. But anyways. Yeah, exactly. So true. Hey, what's going on? David Dismantled. Thanks for joining the stream, man. Immigration and border control are also big factors in the digital ID scheme and getting by in and getting buy-in from the average dumbass. Hey, that's a good point, Dave. Good point, Dave. That's actually a really good point. Thanks for mentioning that. Ditto for elections. Aha, it is a full spectrum approach to implementation. Another great point. Thank you, Dave, for pointing that stuff out. That's another great point to ponder. And thanks a lot. Yes, I agree. I'm with GTO Mama. Excellent foresight, Dave. Excellent. Yeah, my dark age Sterling. Yeah. Yeah. Well, grab yourself a flashlight, my friend, because yeah, we got some work to do. But anyways, yeah, thanks. Thanks to all you folks for, like I say, that did join the stream. Like I say, it's around an hour now. So I'll probably tie this live stream up. I did cover pretty much the most important aspect of this. And once again, I feel compelled that I have to do this, even though I recognize that my content is quite heavily suppressed. I wish that wasn't the case. I wish I could get my voice out there to more and more people, but I don't know. I have this damnedest thing about me that I don't have give up within me. So yeah, you're probably going to still see me for a long time now. Like I say, how periodic, how often it is, that's definitely going to change, and depending on my mood, I guess. But I'm definitely going to be sticking around and doing what I do to, like I say, at least keep the conversation going. And once again, seeking out others who actually want to engage in this kind of dialogue as well, because that's another thing. As much as I like talking about this stuff in a monologue type of setting like I am now, I also genuinely, as you folks know, love discussing and talking about these big and important ideas and subject matters and topics with other people. And I'm looking forward to doing some of that as well. Anyways, thanks for you folks, like I say, that did join the live stream. I'll see you in the next one. And hey, and in the interim, make sure you're doing everything you can to protect your privacy and making sure that you have redundancy built in when they do finally come for us, because yeah, we're definitely going to have a way to be able to communicate with each other. But anyways, like I say, you folks have a great day. It's Canadian Libertarian, and I love liberty.